Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you here. Lawmakers' coordinated strategy to deny digital assets industry access to banking. We're going to get into that. SEC's dissenter, you're going to want it. The role of cash versus CBDCs and stablecoins. Chris Giancarlo lays it down at consensus, and you're going to want to hear about it. And we've got the latest on the Ripple versus Zakinov case. We've got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, $1.24 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency. The market is off by 0.5%. Good morning, everybody. 28,900 for Bitcoin. We see 1881 and change for Ethereum. Tether market cap is 81.4 billion plus. XRP is 45 cents this morning, off by 2.9 in the 24-hour and 6.4 on the 7-day. If you have not done it, get your ticket at XRP-Las and get your web ticket for Saturday's conference. We are sold out on Friday and Saturday. We had to shut down our private group, the Digital Perspectives Mastermind group. This event is going to be remarkable. We are holding production panels and getting all the panels dialed in so you have an amazing experience filled with knowledge and sharing all of the stuff that is happening currently and to come in the XRP Ledger ecosystem. It is going to be remarkable. Get your web ticket. We will have to shut the door on that, and I don't want to see what happened with the physical tickets. I get messages every day where people are like, you sure I can't get a ticket? It's like, unfortunately, I am. We are at max capacity in both rooms, so make sure you get your web ticket before that door closes as well. Let's take a look at this. Uphold's going to be on stage with us, baby. It's CEO Robin O'Connell and Chief Product Officer Nancy Beaton. It is going to be remarkable. And they're going to be sharing some news on stage at XRP Las Vegas. Don't miss it. Take a look at this. Lawmakers see coordinated strategy to deny digital asset industry access to banking that is not related to a desire to protect banks. Oh, dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Here we see Patrick McHenry, Representative French Hill, and Bill Huizenga are demanding information on prudential banking regulators' efforts to debank the digital asset ecosystem. Wow. Do I smell Elizabeth Warren at the bottom of this pile somewhere? Sherrod Brown. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what goes on here. But I tell you, it does feel exactly like that is the narrative. And meanwhile, this is from Jim Filan. Shout out to Jim. A SEC dissenter says the regulator must ease off crypto. And this is obviously Hester Peirce here, but you're going to want this because she's getting more vocal by the day here. The SEC's aggressive approach doesn't sit well with one of the most senior figures. It's Hester Peirce, as you can imagine. But this is what she says. One of the SEC's 5 commissioners formally disavowed the agency's tactics on multiple occasions. She says the SEC's actions have been driven by what she calls jurisdictional maximalization, launching cases in order to grow its mandate, but haven't actually helped the crypto sector become more compliant. One way to plant a flag is to bring enforcement action, it says. This is our space, Peirce says, but in pursuing to territorial gains instead of creating guidance to help crypto firms color within the lines, she claims, the SEC has lost its way. We haven't done our job as a regulator. We have not provided a road to compliance. Peirce has made multiple public dissents, most recently against the proposed amendment to the definition of an exchange that would expand the range of crypto activities overseen by the SEC, which she says are designed to foster public discussion about appropriate checks and balances for crypto and to heal the dysfunctional relationship between the industry and the regulator. She describes that the SEC current tactic as a combination of regulation by enforcement, a term crypto proponents have also latched onto, and regulation by ambiguity, whereby businesses are left in the dark as to their compliance obligations until lawsuits land in their tray. Peirce believes the dynamics has eroded any vestige of mutual trust between the crypto industry and the SEC, and she's 1,000,000% right. Gary Goldman Gensler said himself that if you get a lawyer that comes in to see us, I'm paraphrasing, essentially that declares that you're a security by default to come in and see us. And yet we know there's countless clips and footage from MIT we've been showing for over 2 years of the opposite, 180-degree opposite that he taught the people at MIT. So either he needs to give the money back to MIT or he needs to go in the SEC. This here from Zach Rector, who will be a moderator on stage at XRP Las Vegas. Absolutely proud to have him, and got to listen to Rick Rule speak a few times. He said at the VRIC, brilliant investor, and I love his attitude towards the government. Me too. Take a listen to this about the dollar, and then we're getting ready to hear from Giancarlo, who lays it down at Consensus.
I have some sympathy for that. I need to tell you, Daniela, as a consequence of the popularity of central bank digital currency, and as a function of my concern for poor people, I am using much more cash in day-to-day transactions.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's one thing that I personally can do. In particular now, when I go to restaurants, I often pay cash. And what I do, Daniela, as a consciousness-raising exercise, is I call the waiter or waitress over, and I say, this which I'm giving you is not a tip. The IRS suggests that a tip is taxable. This is a gift. I am giving this to you.
Yes.
And my interpretation and the IRS's interpretation is that a gift up to $17,000 per recipient is non-taxable. Please understand that this cash, which I am giving you, is, in the eyes of the giver, not a gift, which is taxable, but a tip, which is non-taxable.
And that's a remarkable point there, and it really hit home to me, but it brings us to a much larger conversation about CBDCs, which is what he was really building off of in that. And here we see recently introduced House Congressional Stablecoin bill appropriately raises concerns about privacy in CBDCs. Strangely, the legislation saying nothing about privacy when it comes to stablecoins. It is a significant oversight. That is because there is nothing inherently superior about stablecoins in protecting individual privacy compared to CBDCs. Both CBDCs and stablecoins will be massive honeypots of the citizens. Financial data creating the opportunity for wide-scale mischief and abuse. And we got Giancarlo, and thank you to Eleanor Tarrant, who will also be at XRP Las Vegas. We're excited to have her. And listen to what he says here. This is, all of it is strong, and it's exactly what we need to be thinking about. This is why I have carried the flag for Giancarlo, the Digital Dollar Project, and understanding this is exactly why we need to focus so intently on getting it right, whether it's a stable coin or a CBDC itself. Listen to this.
Now, many thoughtful people on both sides of the political aisle are appropriately concerned about misuse of such stockpiles of financial data, wreaking havoc on financial privacy and economic liberty. And therefore, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is not wrong to be concerned. And in 2022, Congressman Tom Emmer quite thoughtfully introduced legislation focused on CBDC privacy. And earlier this month, the House Financial Services Committee reintroduced a stablecoin bill that raises similar concerns about CBDC. But strangely, that legislation contains not a single word protecting Americans' privacy in stablecoins. 3 pages about CBDC, and it mentions privacy in CBDC, 70 pages about stablecoins, and not one word about privacy. That's an oversight. It's a grave oversight. That must be addressed in any future stablecoin bill. let's be clear, absolutely clear, there is nothing inherently superior about non-sovereign digital currency in protecting privacy over central bank digital currency. Nothing whatsoever. Both of them will be massive honeypots of users' financial data, creating the opportunity for wide-scale mischief and abuse. It's entirely foreseeable that private sector sponsors of cryptocurrencies and stablecoins, or even commercial servicers of digital dollars, such as wallet providers, could be put under government pressure to conduct surveillance, report on activity, and disable financial transactions with disfavored groups and activities. This could be done in the same way that we now know the US government has had full access to everything on Twitter, including private direct messages between users. Fit-for-purpose stablecoin legislation must protect American citizens' financial rights to privacy. In democratic societies, lawful transactions in digital money, whether it's sovereign digital money or non-sovereign, must be immune from political surveillance and censorship, regardless of who's in power today, 4 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And that's why the advent of both stablecoins and digital dollars offers us the opportunity to reassess our existing financial surveillance system in their entirety. It provides the chance to reestablish financial law enforcement in more true accord with American constitutional norms, the presumptions of innocence, and the rule of law. My friends, money is power, and the digital future of money is upon us. The trajectory of the world is towards the creation of massive-scale, singular currency platforms. Whether they're CBDCs or stablecoins is irrelevant. Financial power arrangements worldwide will be revamped, and the informal currency zones, the Eurozone, the dollar zone of the past, will yield highly integrated digital currency networks of the future. The world will have CBDCs and stablecoins, whether we like it or not, and whether the U.S. chooses to lead or to follow. The question is not whether the digital future of money can be forestalled. It can't. The question is whether surveillance coins of authoritarian governments will have the digital future to themselves, or whether they will encounter competition from freedom-protected digital currency endorsed by venerable democracies like the United States.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, he's got my vote. This guy gets it. He absolutely gets it. And I tell you, it is such an important moment. And I press on this because stablecoin legislation, CBDC's approach, all of this is coming before we get any crypto regulation. I really do firmly believe that. And it is so very important that we get that right. No doubt about it. Go, Chris, Giancarlo. Well, here we have it, and here's another thing that we absolutely got to make sure that we get right. It's the Zakinov versus Ripple case, which is a class action where I'm going to refrain from saying a word, but from the guy who bought XRP, held it for 2 weeks, turned around and sold it. And it would appear to me that this is another one of these using the court legal system to weaponize against a competitor is what this feels like to me. I can't prove that, but that's certainly what it feels like. But let's see what went on in yesterday's public hearing here. Yesterday, April 26th, the class certification hearing was held in the lawsuit of Zakinov against Ripple Labs. Lead plaintiff Zakinov, who owned XRP for just 2 weeks, seeks to be the lead plaintiff in the class action lawsuit. He argues the XRP security, which has been issued by Ripple, Bradley Sostak, is asking the court to form a class consisting of all XRP owners who bought and now hold XRP, who sold XRP at a loss. Well, as you can imagine, John Deaton filed it to be amicus in this case. However, the judge assigned to the case did not allow amicus counsel to appear at oral argument, which really was frustrating. And John Deaton said this: I've never been so frustrated in my legal career watching the Zoom hearing, mainly because I can't speak and address the questions and issue being asked by the judge. The problem is no one understands the tech. Remarkably, the judge stated during the hearing that she had even attended a seminar on crypto before this hearing came out, just as confused as before she went in the hearing, as before the hearing. So accordingly, the hearing can be described as very tedious and lacking in clarity. One example is the judge's debate on whether listen to this. The judge's debate on whether more than 75,000 XRP holders who support Ripple in its lawsuit against the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission can be excluded from the class action. The backdrop is that the class action would include all XRP holders around the world, even in countries where XRP has already been classified as a non-security. In response, Nick Spear, the lawyer for Zakinov, stated that the 75,000 XRP holders are fake. We're all fake, he says, and therefore irrelevant. Oh, really? Spear subsequently explained how damage calculations can be made. Nevertheless, the judge, Phyllis Hamilton, replied that she is skeptical of the worldwide class action. Skeptical. If she just does any amount of work, she can find out we're all real. And explained that there is no precedent for that. Ripple attorney Andrew Michelson also discussed the XRP buyers didn't rely on Ripple, including overseas. He also presented evidence of the 75,000 XRP holders who support Ripple in the SEC case and do not want to be a part of the Zakinov class action. Michelson also laid out why a class is not a solution to force 74 holders to opt out. It says here, furthermore, the judge inquired whether it matters why holders buy crypto and inquire about the Howey test as an objective test. She sought to understand the cryptocurrencies have a use case. Michelson laid out several items and for them, including cross-border payments, and agreed that the judge and the use case is important. In addition, the Ripple attorney emphasized that the plaintiffs were making a purchase on the secondary market, and thus there was no written contract between the plaintiff and defendant. Sound familiar? Ripple's counsel also endeavored to explain how the complainant's experience in day trading reflected that he was not dependent on Ripple's efforts by buying and trading intraday. Zakinov's counsel, on the other hand, countered that the market materials were relevant, that a contract was not necessary because of the scheme, and that the Mayfield case is clear. Thus, the finding from the hearings are limited. The judge is now reviewing the facts, and Zakinov is allowed to lead the class action. The outcome is open. The next date is May 8th, 2023. Right after the conference, when plaintiff Zakinov expert disclosures are due. I tell you, when this said May 8th, I couldn't help but feel like, man, do I hope Judge Torres in the SEC versus Ripple case provides a ruling that could inform this ridiculous lawsuit from Zakinov and Bradley Sostak, which feels like a weaponization of the legal system. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.